55-17, Colorado falls to 1-9. We expected this was going to happen. But for a quarter there, I don't know if we really realistically thought Colorado was ever going to win this football game. But after CU's men's basketball team goes out to Grambling State and loses out there, and Colorado's up 3-2 after the first quarter, I'm going, is this bizarro day for CU athletics?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the same thing. Like, what's going on with USC? And we talked about it before the week. If CU had a shot, it would be if USC didn't come out, kind of ready, maybe not energized enough. And I think that was probably part of it. And then it was almost like second quarter, USC's like, all right, we're USC, let's go take care of this thing. And that's what happened. But credit CU's defense. I mean, they came out, played a really good first quarter. You hold them to 8 yards in the first quarter, 2 punts, 2 3-and-outs, an interception, and then 523 yards you give up in 55 points or 53 points, I guess, in the last 3 quarters. So, first quarter was great. Last 3 quarters, not so much.
Yeah, I think you'd say first quarter defense and then Alex Fontenot as far as the positives in this game. Beyond that, I don't know, you're probably stretching the truth a little bit, but yeah. Alex Fontenot was fantastic. And that touchdown run where he just wanted it more, and he even said as much in the post game. There were some other big conversions that he had in this game where it was hard running Alex Fontenot that was jewelling his way to some of those yards, and it was a pretty decent performance at times by the offensive line in terms of run blocking, but a lot of that was Alex Fontenot.
Yeah, I mean that's the best he's looked to me in the 43 years he's been here. Yeah, it's been a long time. He's been here a long time, and I mean that was his first 100-yard game since 2019 when he was the starter. It was really cool to see him. He's such a nice kid. It was cool to see him have a game like that. But that's the best he's looked. I mean, his 37-yard run was the longest run of the season for anybody at CU. He had a 27-yarder that the previous longest run was 27 by him last week. He also had a 27 tonight, so he ran really well. But like you said, the positives on offense probably stop right there. They do get a late touchdown. JT Stroud gets in the end zone, but the positives kind of stop with Alex Fontenot. That's kind of the way it's been the last few weeks. It's like the positives were Jordan Tyson, and then you kind of stop there. And even the Cal game, it was like Montana Lamonius Craig got a big game, but did anybody else really? So it's kind of they get one guy to shine on offense, but that's about it.
Yeah, what's frustrating is that the quarterback play has been so awful at CU, minus some glimpses from Owen McCown in his 4 games this year, that we got to become mean reporters and be kind of negative about it. But, I mean, it's just been abysmal, the play of that position. And I know JT Stroud will have moments where you're like, wow, I see why Tennessee offered him a scholarship out of high school. I see why CU wanted him as a transfer. I see why people were kind of excited, us included, before he tore his knee up, and why we thought he should start. But he misses some easy throws. There was a touchdown pass that was wide open to Brady Russell and just airmails it. And there's some other throws that you're just going, these are not throws that Pac-12 quarterbacks miss on.
Yeah, and it was kind of whenever they see you got something positive going on, and I'm not putting this on JT Stroud because I don't think CU wins the game anyway, but it's Nico Reed gets the interception. It's only the second one Caleb Williams has thrown all year. And there was the penalty. I get it that you can debate the penalty that he got on that, but the very next play, JT Stroud is scrambling and he's intentional grounding in the end zone. It's a safety. So right after that interception, you're giving USC 2 points and giving them the ball back. There was another point where USC gets a touchdown to make it. I think it was 9-3 at that point. And the very next play, or a couple plays later, Stroud fumbles it. USC takes over at the 8. They go in. Now it's 16-3. Another point where he throws an interception, and that sets up another back-to-back touchdown situation for USC. USC was going to win this football game anyway, but it's those mistakes that compound it and make it quick and easy for USC. That if you have some good quarterback play, you can stay in some games like this, but they just don't have it consistently, and it's frustrating to watch. And you're right. We don't like being mean, but when you watch it, it's like it's hard to look at anything else and say they're just terrible at quarterback, and they have been for a couple of years now. Yeah,
it was like when CU's defense was playing so well in the first quarter. I didn't say this to be mean, but I looked at you in the press box and I said, but they've got JT Stroud at quarterback in this game. That's not going to change going forward in this game. So you just never really feel like in these type of games that they have a chance. And I have fans on Twitter that are always bringing up Drew Carter and Maddox Kopp, and for the second straight post-game analysis video, I'll say the answer's not there either. So
Right.
whoever coaches this football team in 2023 is going to have to completely retool that quarterback room, aside from Owen McCown, obviously. But even him, when he came in there, he was playing okay. But the reason he looks so good is because it was in comparison to what we've seen from that position. I would say that if you looked at Owen McCown's performance earlier this season, it probably wasn't even mid-level Pac-12 quarterback play, but because of what we've seen, and it's been so awful at that position, it looked better than maybe otherwise would. And don't get me wrong, Owen McCown's got a bright future here, but I don't think that position is even settled with him going into 2023.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was walking up the tunnel to the press conference, and I hear my name, look up, and it's Sam Neuer. And he yells at me, and comes over and gives me a hug and says hi, and he's living out here now. But chatted with him for a second. But you kind of, I mentioned this to you afterwards. I'm like, boy, I bet they wish they had Sam Neuer right now, because he played really well, especially those first 4 games in 2020, and that was really the last time that they had, much going quarterback-wise. And, there was a spark that he brought to that team, and, he didn't make mistakes, and, and it's been since then since they've had, pretty good quarterback play, and it's tough to watch at times. And I do like again, you mentioned it, but there's things you see with JT Stroud, you're like, okay, man, he's got it. I mean, there's something there, but there's just not enough consistently there for you to feel confident about that position going forward. And with Owen McCown, because of his size, I do believe that he's still developmental enough that it's no guarantee that he should be the guy next year or will be the guy next year. So, to your point, it might be some guy that's not here right now that they got to go get in the portal and let Owen McCown sit for another year and develop his body more. And maybe by 2024, if he's still here, now he's a 6'3", 210-pound quarterback instead of 6'2", and yes, I have heard he still could grow, but maybe instead of 175, 170, you'd like him to be 210 by the time he starts playing.
Travis Dye went down for USC tonight, needed a stretcher to take him off, so that's really unfortunate news for this Trojans program that has aspirations to potentially get into the college football playoff. So I would imagine we're probably not going to see him play football again this season. But Caleb Williams, gosh, he lives up to the hype. I mean, he was doing Patrick Mahomes type stuff out there tonight, and it's almost like the game is moving in slow motion for him. He's so calm in the pocket and always looks in control. Now, part of that, Jalen Sami mentioned that, hey, we had 8 guys back in coverage. We're only rushing 3, so that did give him more time back in the pocket. But still, that kid can play football. I mean, he's on a short list of guys that I've covered in person on this beat. He's up there, and I would put him, probably ahead of Bo Nix just in terms of he is the USC's offense right now, whereas Bo Nix kind of is a product of that system.
Yeah, to me, I think Bo Nix does a really good job running the Oregon offense. To me, Caleb Williams is just a really phenomenal quarterback, that could run a lot of offenses. And, he's fun to watch. He's got to be one of the top, I probably have to rack my brain about who we've seen over the last 10 years because you forget names. But, there's been some good ones. But he would be up there. And that's what made the first quarter so surprising is you're watching this and it's like, really? I mean, CU came in with only 6 sacks all season. I know at one point they had 3. I think they finished with 3. I don't know what the final number was, but they had 3 early in this game, despite rushing only 3 guys. And that's kind of when USC made some adjustments, like, all right, let's figure this out so Caleb Williams isn't getting hit. He took some shots early in this game, but, they adjusted. He's a phenomenal quarterback.
All right, Colorado 1-9, 2 games left, coming up against Washington and Seattle next week, and then back home against Utah. We'll see if they can at least keep one of these games close down the stretch. It'd be nice to have one more entertaining football down the stretch.